All right, up next we've got Al Kearns. Al Kearns began teaching and coaching at Parkersburg High School in 1978. He retired from Appleton Parkersburg in 2014 after 36 years of teaching. During his career at Parkersburg and Appleton Parkersburg, he was an assistant coach to Ed Thomas for over 30 years, the head girls track coach for 29 years, and also coached girls 6-on-6 basketball, which many of you probably don't remember, for a time. During their 30 years of coaching together, Coach Kearns and Coach Thomas both shared an uncanny ability to motivate young people to help them reach their maximum potential and achieve things that they previously thought were impossible. This ability to lead to a very successful football program at AP, his gift of motivation also led to a successful girls track program. The 2001 AP girls track team won a state title, and the 1997, 99, 2000, and 2007 teams finished as state runner-up. Over his teaching career, Mr. Kearns has taught psychology, sociology, at-risk, and character development and leadership. He currently helps implement the character development and leadership curriculum to schools in the Midwest. Over the past 2 years, Coach Kearns has helped the Ed Thomas Family Foundation develop our Leadership Academy to help carry on the legacy of Coach Thomas by trying to impact young people. He also does motivational speaking for schools, communities, and businesses. With that, help me welcome Al Kearns.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark. I've listened to the speakers this morning, and I hope some of you out there are getting it. I've been inspired by every one of them. Every one of them has brought a tear to my eye. What an opportunity you have today. And I feel like right now, this moment, after listening to them, now I'm not as smart as I'm going to get, but this is the smartest I've ever been after listening to them. I watch the news, I watch things going on, and I'm thinking, why aren't they running for president? Now that's the kind of stuff I want to hear, but we won't get on TV. We won't make the news. But that's what makes it nonetheless. If my clicker's working here, I got to tell you, people, I'm not as good a person as Ed Thomas because I could be in jail because I stole this off the internet. And I put it up there. And I don't know who to acknowledge for it. But that's what we're about today. That's what we're about. Making more leaders. And that we ask every one of you, when you walk out that door today, when you walk out for the last time, are you going to be better than when you walked in? That's what our hope is. That's what your supervisors that brought you, that's what their hope is. That when you leave here today, it was time well spent and your behavior changes in a positive direction. That's what we're about. You know, we have evaluation sheets in your bags, and those mean a lot to us, and we've learned from that. And be honest, get together, fill out those evaluation sheets. They mean a lot to us. Now, there's some feedback on there I want to warn you about that we always get. Sometimes we will get this from our evaluations. You know, I listened to the first speaker and the second speaker and the third speaker and so on, and they all say the same thing. That's it. You get it. Don't throw that away. That's the point. It's the same thing your parents tell you. It's the same thing your teachers and your leaders and your preachers are telling you at home. It's the same thing. Might be in a different way, but it's the same thing. Don't disregard that. So as we go and we're talking about this leadership, that's what it is. When I was a young person starting out in my job, my mom sold motivational books so I could get them free. And I read all these motivational books. And then finally I realized, you know what, if you take them all, they all say the same thing. That's it. Now, some of us will connect with some of you and not so much with the rest of you. And we hope that's what makes today worthwhile. So as we go and we say, you're out there, I want you to know this, especially in this election year. You look, don't miss this. One person can make a difference. Don't be one of those that says, I'm just one person, it doesn't matter. My vote won't matter. You're wrong. You're dead wrong. I hope that's what this Leadership Academy is about. Yeah, my name's Al Kearns. I'm an old teacher. I look at all these people up here today. We got all these, you listen to those speakers. How about that? Is my wife out there? Dang it. Because I was going to tell you, that Amanda Goodman is my kind of woman. I got to tell you. That's good stuff. What a role model for you people to see and hear. Don't miss that. So as we go, I got to tell you about my wife. I'm married for 40 years. I don't know today about political correctness. I'm not real good at that. But I will tell you, I don't want to offend anybody. Nothing I would ever say I would ever want to offend any one of you. But I'll tell you this. I hope you get an experience in your life from a significant other for almost 41 years, my wife. Without her, I'm not here today. I'm not anywhere today. And I don't know if it's right to tell you about being married and all this and that and all the opportunities you have and all the options that we have out there. That's fine. But I can tell you this. It's been everything in my life. I hope you're that fortunate. So he said, we were blessed with some sons. We got some great daughter-in-laws and grandkids. God, that's good. That's good stuff. I wish that all for you. I did a lot of coaching. I coached some football, some girls track. I go back to 6-on-6 girls basketball. Probably not very many. What? 6-on, what? Yeah, we used to do that in Iowa. We moved on. You need to know this. I am a mutt. And what I mean by that, I don't have a lot of paperwork. Everybody here today is famous. All the other speakers are like good looking. They got degrees. They got master's degrees, doctor's degrees. We got Division I, And then there's me. I got a degree to where I could teach, and teachers out there. I'm pretty sure I was always legal. I'm pretty sure I kept my hours up. But other than that, I don't have a special degree. I say, hey, I was taught in the trenches. I learned from people like you. I have a unique experience that I've been able to go to a lot of schools in Iowa and speak to young people. And I tell you this, I mean this. You're the best we got. And I'm talking about the United States of America. That to me makes today so important because some of you sitting there right now, someday you're going to make it. And what I mean, you don't have to make it, you don't have to be famous, but some of you are going to achieve powerful positions. And I hope you take some of what you hear today with you because that's what we need. Now, I'm going to say, okay, class. Since I'm a teacher, you're my class today, big class, about 250 of you should be out there. I'm your teacher, sorry. That's the only way I know how to do something. So I'm going to teach you, so I'm going to start you off. If you come in my high school classroom, first day I'm going to tell you this early on in the lesson. Now pay attention. If you believe everything I say, you may be an idiot. Now, when you go home today, you need to focus because if your parents ask you and you say, what'd you learn today? And you go, I don't know, some old guy said we're idiots. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you shouldn't believe everything I say. You shouldn't believe everything anyone says. Even today with the good stuff, you got to think for yourself. That's where leadership starts. Think for yourself. That's leadership. I taught some great classes. I taught psych and soc and a great character development and leadership course, which I use a lot of that information here today. But I'm telling you, I loved it in class because when you think for yourself as a student, I would have students say, hey, Kearns, you said this, but I think that. All right. That's good stuff. You're thinking. You're taking to think. That's what we want. And maybe we will never agree. But we got to disagree in an agreeable way. I don't know how many teachers are out there, but we got to be teaching this. Because it's not happening. And it's not getting role modeled in the media. And our candidates are embarrassing. I don't think that's how this country was built. I do not. I do not believe that. I'm not going for it, and I'm not changing my mind ever. So we go, hey, we can disagree in an agreeable way. That's leadership. Now, This is a mature skill, and you're going to remain respectful to the other person. It's essential in relationships. You will never be married 41 years like me if you can't do that. Both sides. Because let me tell you, my wife does not always agree with me. But she's stayed with it. Sometimes wonder why. Now, the topic today is obviously leadership. And there's many types of leadership. There's positive leadership, negative leaderships. These are not tough concepts. This isn't calculus. You can be a verbal leader. Now, right now, that's my role. I'm here. I'm supposed to be a leader, and I got to be verbal. You can lead by example. You get people in your groups who don't say anything, but you know. Wow. Wow. Sometimes in your sports, you're out there. And you're looking and you go, I'm so tired, I don't know if I... And you look up and that person's going, and they're going hard. And you go, I can do it. They don't say anything. They're leaders. You can have a democratic. You can be an authoritarian. You can be laissez-faire or laissez-faire like your peer groups to where you don't really, it's just kind of whatever. But today, what we're talking about, in sociology, we learn that throughout the day we're in many groups. And while we're in those groups, all of those groups have leadership. We get up when we're in our family, and if you just take a typical day, you go to school, every class is a different group. We don't consciously think about this until we take sociology, but our groups are changing all the time. And every time the groups change, the norms change. And what the norms means is your behavior expectations of every group is different. So if some of you, I'm not preaching to you, but I just use this as an example because it's kind of extreme. If you have a group and you go to a church group and your preacher's there, you're going to use different language than you use with your peer group, right? Am I right? Go like this. Lie to me. Yeah, Okay, so we change and we adapt, and we're doing that all the time. So we say, they all have leadership. Now, psychology is individual. It's about self-leadership. Thinking for yourself is individual. That's self-leadership. I think that's where it starts. Leadership isn't about making a bunch of other people be like you. It's about you. Leadership's about you. It's individual. And when you go and you say, hey, today we're going to be talking about positive leadership only in those groups and with yourself. Positive only. I'm disregarding everything else. Only positive leadership. That's what we're about today. So come on. Okay, so positive leadership to me is leadership with character. And leadership without character. If you've heard me speak, you've heard me say this. Leadership without character is a failure of leadership. That's good stuff. I could put that on a test. You could probably pass. But I'm a teacher. That's information. Now let's make some knowledge out of it. What does that mean, really? Well, I know what it means. So you go and you say, hey, come on, clicker. What does character mean? Do you have good character? And some of you could ask yourself that question. You see, today, people, are you listening to me? We want today to be a mirror. I'm holding a mirror right up here for you to look into and examine yourself. And I'm asking you that question. Here's a mirror. Look into it. Do you have good character? And if you say yes, what does that mean? If you say no, what does that mean? That means a lot. I want anyone here to know that if you come and ask me, Mr. Kearns, would you write me a resume? Because I've been asked that. I said, first of all, I'm a teacher, excuse me, but it's resume. It looks like resume, but it's resume. So yes, I will write you a resume. Because you did some important things. You showed up every day and you showed up on time. I won't write a resume for anyone who can't get to school on time every day. Not most of the time, every day. If you can't get your butt out of bed and get to school by 8:20 at our school, I'm not going to write you a resume. Goodness sakes. You say next year when you're out on your own, you're going to do better? Get somebody else. So here's the best thing I can say about you. This young person has great character. That's the best compliment you can get from me. Now, we still haven't got to, Mr. Kearns, what does that mean? Okay, I'm going to show you a picture of good character. Are you ready? It's one of my favorite pictures. It's beautiful. When you see it, you're going to go, oh, look at that. And I'm even colorblind. Yeah. And, you know, all the great things I'm telling you today, some of you go home and you go, I don't know, there's this like fat old man up there and he was colorblind. Focus. Character is a centerpiece word. And it's got all these other words around it. And if I say you have good character, strong character, you display great character qualities, I'm saying you do pretty darn good at all those little words there. And I call those little words the words of great power and meaning, with character being the centerpiece word. It's complex. I just don't mean, okay, you're a good kid, you come to school every day, you work hard, you're a hard worker. That's a character trait. It's not up there. There could be other words. But if you're just a hard worker, I'm not going to say you have good character. You got to do more. You got to have a great attitude. You got to show respect to yourself and others. You got to have courage. And all those words, when I taught this great character development leadership course, we would take each of those words and spend a week on them. Imagine spending a week on one of those words in high school. It's a thing of beauty, let me tell you. Because some of the speakers prior to me were talking about phones. You guys communicate, there's no question. You use language, you communicate more than any people in the history of the world. What do you say? I asked some people in my class one time, who sends the most texts daily? And I can't even tell you the hundreds of numbers that I came up with. I had a couple girls that I can't remember. It was so high it doesn't even register for me how many texts they sent per day. What did you say? At the end of the day, what did you say? When you're communicating and you're using your twit face or your snip snap or whatever it is you guys do, I don't even know what it's all about. I don't do that. See, look at this. Look at this. You want to make fun of a fat old man? I got a flip phone. Yeah, they still make them. Works fine. So we go, you know, as you're going and you say, what do you say? To me, these are the words of great power and meaning. And we would go, hey, you know what? I would say things like this. I would say, Trev, what's your favorite word?
Perseverance.
Say it again.
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Is it up there? Yep. Good. Have you studied it? Yep. Yes, you have. He's used to it. I could ask him why he likes perseverance, and he means it. It's in him. It's emotional. These are kind of words, when you say them, you feel them. They're emotional. When I used to start off and I say, okay, day one, character development leadership, what's your favorite word? And the number one favorite word, the first day of, I hope I don't fall off here. I get excited. I know you don't. I'm having a great time. I know you're not. I am. So I'd say, what's your favorite word? And they go, I don't know. And something you go, what's your favorite word? And the number one favorite word in my class the first day was, I'm like, that's really a good word, that You see somebody say, and you just want to go, you're a genius. How you know, your verbal gymnastics, and I'm stymied. So we go and we say, hey, I want you to have a favorite word. When we're done with this course, you're going to have a favorite word. And they did. And a lot of them would go like this at the end when I put it on the test. What's your favorite word and why? Mr. Kearns, can I have more than one? Yes. And I had that guy in my class. He was in my class every trimester. You know the guy that said, oh, Kearns, we're supposed to have a favorite word. What's your favorite word? I go, no problem. It's integrity. I can't even, it's integrity. Not because I'm good at it, because I'm inspired by it. What's integrity mean? Every word on there is like this. Integrity is people say, well, it's about being honest. No, it's more than that. It's saying, this is important to me, and that's how I'm going to live. Coach Thomas was the faith, family, and football. Now, again, I'm not preaching to you. If you're not in religion, that's fine. But that's the example, and that's how he lived his life. Try it. Is honesty important to you? Live honest. Say, how many of you would raise your hand? Let's have a little participation. Raise your hand. Honesty is important to me. That's a value. Okay? So now, we all know honesty is important to you. Now, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand on this one because it scares me. Do you cheat on your schoolwork? And that includes you smarties letting people copy. That's cheating. So next time they ask you, can I copy your stuff? Say, no, thank you, I'm not doing that anymore. But they won't like me. Are you kidding me? You worried about your 5,000 friends on TwitFace? I don't know what happened to you guys. I don't know what happened to people. If they're not going to like you for that, they're not going to like you. Not everybody likes you. I love that. Amanda Goodman. I'm like, yes! Not everybody likes you. So we go and we say, hey, character first, leadership second. So this is the basics of leadership. You improve your character. And you know who the people with good character are in your school, and they become role models, you see? They're a role model. They work on their character. Sometimes they don't even know they're leaders. But other people do. And character first, leadership second. Raise your hand, that makes sense. That's what we're talking about today. So now we go and we say, we have to work on our character daily. In character development leadership class, you could take that course, and I said, students, you can get an A. It isn't like, I got an A in character development leadership, so I'm good at it, I'm done. It's never over. I'm challenged by the same things you are every day. There's always people, and they would say, if you want to get peer pressure. So we go, real quick, is peer pressure a good thing or a bad thing? What'd you say? She goes, peer pressure is a bad thing. Why do kids say that? You're smarter than that. Why can't peer pressure be a good thing? Aren't there positive leaders out there? Aren't they making other students do good things? So now we go, okay, so peer pressure can be a good thing. That's what we're telling you today. You be that one. You be the good peer pressure. Are you tough enough? Are you tough enough to do that? You might lose a couple friends. They might block you on your thing, whatever that is. They might. Oh, well. It's birth to death, people. It's birth to death. You know, rhetorical question, you know the answer, right? Are we perfect or will we mess up? We'll mess up. A big part of character is, what do we do after we mess up? A lot of times that's when character is revealed. You know, there's some great famous sayings. Adversity reveals character. I believe that one. You know, we're talking about the tornado, we're talking about a murder, and character was revealed. That's one of the reasons we're here today. You know, when good character is, after you mess up, how do we respond? Because we all have character flaws. And if I went back to those words with character's a centerpiece word, and we got all the character traits around it, one of my character flaws, are you still out there, dear? Good. I don't want to remind you of this. One of my flaws is composure. Because I anger easily. It's like nature to me. My first thing is like, that's the first thing that comes into my brain. And we got to know our flaws and we got to work on it. I'm the guy driving. Anybody that passes me is a maniac. What are you, a maniac? And anybody that drives slower than me is an idiot. Hurry up, idiot. That's the first thing that comes into my mind. I got to control that or I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. I knew that when I was real little because I had the greatest mom ever. My mom said, you have to know that you have a special place inside of you where your anger comes from. You got to do something. I knew that. I got to work on that. We all have flaws, and we all have things we're pretty good at. So you go from good character to being a role model. Leadership. All we have to do is what Coach Thomas used to say all the time, do what's right. Last thing he said to football players after the games, we're going to get off the bus. Last thing he said, do what's right this weekend. Because he knew that was the real challenge. What are you going to do when nobody's watching? Years ago, we didn't call it good character. Now we call it character. And a lot of you have had that. I hope it makes sense to you. So we go, and I'm clicking. When I taught class, the kids would come back and they would go, they'd find this out. They go, we start talking about this in class. And I say, you think about that word? Yeah, I thought about that word. And they go on, they come back, they go, Mr. Kearns, this is hard. What's in it for me? And that's not your fault. That's the way we messed up teaching you. Every time you do something, you're like, here, give me something. We ruined you. That was our fault. But be advised, it's not real. What's in it for you? I'll tell you what's real. It's not magic. So I say, when you do what's right, when you demonstrate good character, I promise you, try it. Think about it. It feels pretty good. Hey, Mr. Kearns, this weekend I was out and I saw this happen and I did this. And they demonstrated good character, and I would always say, feels pretty good, doesn't it? Recognize that. Good character probably won't make you rich. It probably won't make you famous. If you stop and think and you say, I know somebody with good character, they're probably people that are just great people like we have in Iowa. And we have great character role models walking around. But I'm telling you, this feeling, you can't buy it, you can't drink it, and you can't smoke it. And we got people looking for that feeling in all the wrong places. And all you got to do is do what's right. And it's always been that way, and it's never going to change. And it's not calculus. But it's kind of hard to do. It's really hard to do on a consistent basis. But if you're aware of it, you can do it. Okay. Class, let's review. So, these are the basics of leadership. Leadership without character is a failure of leadership. Anybody out there like that? Put that in your memory banks. Character first, leadership second. How many goes, that makes sense now? That's the basics of leadership. Raise your hand, that makes sense. Lie to me, just raise your hand. Yeah, okay, good, I'm a great teacher. So, from becoming a person of good character to a role model. Okay, so, you improve your character, you're a role model, that's leadership. We're all leaders. Every one of you. I've had people say, hey, Kearns, I don't know, that's a lot of stress. I get a lot of young people, I don't know if I can be a leader, I don't want to be a leader. Here's my question for you then. You don't want to be a leader? Nope, I don't want any part of it. Okay, pay attention. What are you going to do when you have the most important job that most everyone has, ever? What's the most important job most of you ever going to have? What is it? You'll be someone's mother or father. And you're not going to be a leader? Are you kidding me? You're not going to be a positive leader? You're not going to be a positive role model for your child? That's what makes this country sustain. Is family and that kind of education. Make no mistake about it. Okay, so I hope you learn from these basics. And we learn in psychology that learning is a change of behavior. Is your behavior going to change when you leave here today? That's how you demonstrate learning. So we say, that's big to us. When you leave here today, are you going to be better? That's what I meant. There's your mirror. Are you going to be better? Can you sustain all these great things that you've heard today from these other speakers? When you return to your school, now, when you return to your school, is your school going to be better because you're in it by one person? That's leadership. I don't care what everyone else is doing. You make your school better because you're in it by one person. That's leadership. It's unarguable. You guys know what dominates your school. Every school is dominated by either positive leadership or negative leadership. If it's negative leadership, what are you doing to make it better? It starts with one person. That's leadership. Coach Thomas used to tell us there's two kinds of people when you go back to your school. There's givers and takers. I love this one. And nothing I'm telling you today, I didn't make any of this up. I stole everything. Coach Thomas said that givers, takers. When you're in your groups, do you help your groups move towards its goals? Do you make your group better because you're in it? I had kids come and say, go, Mr. Kearns, I'm in this class, and it's the dumbest class ever, and the teacher doesn't do anything. And what are you doing to make it better? They go, well, that's not my job. I go, you're an idiot. Pay attention. It's all of your job to improve your classes. When you come in my classroom, the class is about you. You have to take part. You have to be involved. So we say, hey, these givers move the groups towards their goals with positive energies. Takers, they suck the positive energy and they try to focus it to their individual needs. And it doesn't take very many takers to mess things up. And takers can take you from success to failure in a hurry. And what kind of thinking dominates your groups? And all those groups are different. And it's true when you move from all the groups that you're in on a daily basis. Do you make your groups better or do you make them worse? That's what this is about. That's you as an individual. That's leadership. So we go from the basics of leadership to brand new. This stuff I've never put together before in a talk, ever. And I'm pretty excited about it. I've studied leadership for many, many years. I don't consider myself an expert. I certainly am not a genius. But this is what I've got. You know, I'm going to share with you the behavior characteristics of leadership that I have stolen over many years. And I have chosen these behavior characteristics because, to me, it's going to paint a picture of the late, great Coach Ed Thomas. It's going to paint a picture with words. And I often get asked, what was he really like? You're the first group that I'm going to tell. I suggest you focus and take notes because you have to understand you might not be mature enough to get all this today, but maybe if you come back to it today, this is good stuff. And I can tell you, this stuff that I'm going to share, this list, changed my life in a profound way because, you know, I put empathy up there at the beginning, and I always try to use empathy because if I were sitting where you are, I would be, you know, we got to listen to this old man. That would have been me. So I hope it makes some sense. Now, of course, the role model that I'm talking about is Coach Ed Thomas. Now, this is what I saw in Coach Thomas, and it says, Ed Thomas leadership with character. NPO means no particular order. It's not first to worst or anything like that. It's probably random. Take the blame. I think great leaders take the blame. And you can apply this in an election year. And you might be sickened by what you find. But I believe great leaders take the blame. And I didn't do that when I was young. I remember I was with Coach Thomas, and my example is the first time we lost a football game. And I came back, and I was inclined to say, these young people did not pay attention this week. They didn't work hard enough. You know, they didn't give great effort, and they lost. And I'll never forget, he looked me in the eye. And this took with me, and it's still sitting there today. He said, I'll tell you something. Next week, we got to do a better job of coaching. We did not have them ready. We at least must share in the blame because it's easy to jump on the bandwagon when things don't go well and there's a lot of blame to go around. And we've all been in those situations. Here's the mirror. Look in it. What can I do to make it better? What can I do to make it better? What if everyone did that every time? So we go and we say, that's what Coach did. You say things like, I made a mistake. How come people won't say that? People go, say, I made a mistake. Say it. I guarantee you some people out there going, I ain't doing it. I ain't going to say it. Some people are like, I'm sorry. Leadership. Leadership, take the blame. Leadership, give the credit. People miss that one. When we won, The kids played great. My assistant coaches did a great job this week. He spread it around. Some leaders miss that. Some leaders think, I did that. I did that. Put me on TV, I'll tell you about it. I'm a pretty good coach. I'm a pretty good teacher. Look at me. You, me, nobody ever, never accomplishes anything by yourself. Nobody. It's a long road to even get where you are today. It's a lot longer to get where I am today. And if I had to list all the people I got to thank, we wouldn't have time for anything else. You never accomplish anything by yourself. Never. The leaders unite groups. They maintain harmony in a group. Great leaders are uniters. Great leaders in their groups. There's not a lot of infighting. There's always going to be some. Things happen. And he was a master at heading off problems before they became problems. He had some kind of special understanding of people. And it was like one team, one goal. Now, it's not just about a football team. This applies to every group you're in, people. You go, well, I don't like sports. That doesn't. Pay attention. It's this way in every group. So we go, he prioritized life. That's where the FFF comes from, and he taught that to young people. Prioritize your life. What's the most important? What's most important to you? And you have to do that. And this is a time of your life in high school where you're shopping around for your values and what's going to be important to you. And then once you choose those values and you state that, you say, what's your 3, what's your 5 most important values? Then you live your life that way. Try that. That is hard. And then the goals to go with it, long-term, short-term. My finger's having a spasm. Prioritize, quit it! I hate technology. So we go, hey, Coach Thomas was a man of great vision. Okay, this is a hard one. This one takes some maturity. When I met Coach Thomas, he had this plan. He had his life prioritized, and he had these goals, and we would talk about them, and we spent a lot of time together, and our kids make fun of us because Coach Thomas and I spent more time together than we spent with our wives, and our wives spent more time together than they did with us. And we would talk, and he would say, this is what's going to happen. This is what we're working for. This is what the future is going to be. And at the time, I thought, this is some wild stuff. It's not going to happen, but, you know, it's good to think about, but it's not going to happen. I was wrong. Over the years, every one of those things happened. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in a week. It didn't happen in a month or a year. But it happened nonetheless because leaders have great vision, and they are, Trevor's favorite word, persistent. I studied psychology a little bit, and some people say successful people think in pictures or they think in words. Successful people tend to think in pictures. Now, this isn't voodoo or weird science or anything like that. It's just common sense to me, and I'm not very smart. So, what is going on here is you have a picture, you get a visual instead of words, you get a visual, it goes into the greatest computer ever made between your ears, and then you stay with it, and it might happen. That's what successful people do. So can you examine yourself and say, do I think in pictures or do I think in words? Because you can train yourself to do both. Most people think in words. He only acknowledged the good in people. Try that. That's a skill. I've never met anyone like him. I used to say he only saw the good in people, but he wasn't that stupid. It's easy for me to see bad in people. And he probably saw that, but he never acknowledged that. Try that. Try to be a person like that. That's a challenge for me. And then it doesn't mean when they messed up, he'd still chew them out, he'd still get after them, he'd still correct them. But in doing so, he only acknowledged the good he saw in people. And I saw a lot of young people become better people because he let them see what they had in them. The good that we all have in us. It's in there. and focus on the good. You focus on your good because I'm focusing on your good. It's powerful stuff. He had extreme preparation and organization. I can't tell you. People prepare. But I'm talking about extreme preparation, going beyond. And you can take any example of successful people and they prepare extreme. They train harder, they train longer. You'll hear the same story. We tend to look at people like gifted athletes and say, oh, they're so talented. Well, maybe, but if you really study them, they work harder than anyone else, almost all of them. And it ends up looking like talent. It ends up looking like luck to some people, but it's preparation. Number 8, integrity. That's the part where you say, these are my values, I'm going to live like that. And that's why I say he was the toughest man I ever knew and he never beat anybody up. His toughness came from saying to everyone, this is the important part of my life, now watch me, I'm going to live like that. Try that. That's tough. That's why I like integrity, because I'm not that good at it. It's hard for me. I know what I should do, but sometimes I don't do it. And when I was young, I was one of those geniuses that all the wrong things looked like fun to me. I was an idiot. He said DWR, do what's right. That's it. It's hard. Try it. When we do what's right, when we get better every day, winning will take care of itself. He never talked about winning. He never said we need to beat this team. We got to beat this team. We got to win this one. We're going to take care of ourselves. We're going to get better. And we're going to do the right things. And then we win. And let me tell you, he is still one of the highest percentage winning coaches in the state of Iowa history. It works. If you need proof, look it up. There's a record of it. He was strong in adversity. Great leaders are strong in adversity. Adversity reveals character. Sometimes we look back in our community and we have to thank a lot of people. Our community didn't get rebuilt after the tornado. We had a lot of help. Hey, people, this is the greatest place in the world to live, Iowa. We have great people. It's unbelievable. And we say, we're strong in adversity, tornado. People might say, well, you know what? He lost his home, he lost his beloved school, he lost his football field, and his wife Jan took care of rebuilding the house, and he was worried about the football field. When our town was destroyed, people lost their lives. People, let me tell you, he didn't rebuild the town. Everybody did that. Everybody from everywhere. But let me tell you what a leader does. He became a symbol for our community. That's leadership. We're going to play our first football game on our field. And people said, that's vision. And they said, no, you won't. It's impossible. We did it. And it's something that brought a lot of people in our community together. That's leadership. He didn't rebuild the town by himself, but that's the attitude our town took. Try this. Can you see number 10? Start now and do it for the rest of your life. I bet you can't. I hope you can. He did it. 5, 2, 11, consistency. He showed up every day and you knew what he was going to be like. No drama. If he had any drama, he left it. We like people like that. Little things matter. Fundamentals, details, hard work, repetition. Everybody knew what play we were going to run. Hey, diddle, diddle, we're coming up the middle, but we ran it pretty good. Stop us. It's not about a great variety. It's about doing a lot of little things well. In 13, the final thing I'll say about him is he was special. And sometimes you guys get told what you're special. Now, I'm going to share my definition of special with you. Special. What makes a person special? This is what Mr. Kearns says. There are very few. I have a short list of students and athletes that I was blessed to work with over many years. The list is short of ones that I would say were special. This is how I judge them. They worked hard consistently to make the most of what they had, and they did so with great character. That was A. And B. They made those around them want to be better. Coach Thomas made people around him want to be better. People like me. People wanted to improve their character and become a better person, and enhanced individual and group performance. So for me, special. to make the most of what you have with great character, and to elevate the performance of those people around you. You bring that back to your school, you've done something. You bring that back to your community, you've done something. That's leadership. That's special. I'll leave you with this today. Quit it. I got to go all the way now? This is a song. It was back in 1967. And it's called For What It's Worth. It's a great song. It's by Buffalo Springfield. And the lyrics go, there's something happening here. I want all you young people to know this today. This is just from me because I care about you. I don't know why, but I care about you. There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. Those words, those lyrics had meaning to me back in the late 60s when I was your age. And they have great meaning to me today because it's chaos out there sometimes when you look. And I'm like, hey, that was like 50 years ago, and look at us now. We thought we made some things right, and evidently we didn't. A great line in that is, nobody's right if everybody's wrong. And to me, that describes the world today. You're the best we got. You got to go in it, and you got to make it better. We have become a nation of problem identifiers. You turn on TV, you turn on the radio. I do that. There's all kinds of people. There are people just like us. How do you get these jobs? There are people like us sitting around talking, problem identifying, which is complaining. We need you to say, what are you doing to make it better? People, that's leadership. Be a problem solver. That's what we're asking you. That's what our country needs. You're the best we got. You can do it. I love Iowa. I love people of Iowa. We have great pigs. We have great corn, all that stuff. That's good. But what we're best at is people. We're not less than. Go out there and make a difference. We hope that's what this academy is about. America needs your leadership. America needs your solution. America needs you to not be problem identifiers, to be problem-solving leaders. And that's leadership. And I don't have time to close with that, but I will do this. Thank you, and I will shut up now. I hope you had a great experience today. What you've been waiting for is you get to go to lunch. Now, we can dismiss them.